Welcome to today's webinar on Enhance Essay Writing with Turito. My name is Ravali and I'm a part of team here at Turito. I'm joined here by today's speaker, Dr. Poonam Singh and Ms. Priyanka from Student Counselor Department. This webinar is an outreach program by Turito for students to develop their learning skills and parents to give their children best education. Before we start off, let me give a quick intro about our organization. Turito is an innovative edtech platform with a vision to provide quality education to every student by well-experienced faculty. And currently, Turito is available in USA, Canada, Middle East, India, Singapore, and Australia regions. Programs offered by Turito are NAPTAN OC and one-on-one tutoring services for math, science, and English subjects in Australia region. And Turito is different from other edtechs which are currently existing because Turito offers interactive learning methods as per student requirements, regular assessments to track the child's progress, and also doubt clarification sessions for making concepts stronger. Turito also provides parent access to make you a part of child's learning journey. Moreover, we have top 2% certified educators whom we partnered with to envision our mission. Before getting into the specifics, let me offer a quick intro about our today's speaker. Dr. Poonam Singh is a star tutor at Turito. She is a holder of PhD in Literature and Languages. She is a highly passionate educator with 8 years of enriching experience in the education industry. Dr. Poonam Singh has facilitated students for both competitive exams and extemporized spoken English. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Rabali ma'am, for giving me such an amazing introduction. And welcome everyone to be a part of this webinar, which is going to be definitely enhancing for learning few of the methodologies regarding essays. As if we have found out, the students, today's generation students, have absolutely have no notch on these concepts, and they find it difficult at times because essay writings require a lot of practice there, but a few of the strategies that if we can utilize, and if we can use and we can imbibe, we easily be able to write these essays in a very amazing and a required way. So let's try understand about the essays. What are essays? We'll be also talking about the right strategies along with the different types of essays, because children have to understand the difference between the different types of essays, because as at times I have found children using the same methodology in each and every different type of essay, and they don't know what is the basic difference between them. So that is also one of the PowerPoint of concern that we'll be looking at today. And apart from that, improvement is also required in terms of vocabulary. That is also one important part. And importance of time management, because essays absolutely are time consuming. So how are we going to understand that what time is required, or for how long do we write essays that is sufficient for our topic? So moving on to talk about the next. What are essays? So if I say essays, just a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm resharing my screen in a minute or so.
Yeah, ma'am, can I share it?
Yes, Ravali, please.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you can keep the access, you just take it ahead. So, what are essays? Essays, though we know essays are generally the long paragraphs that we write on any specific topic, right? It's a piece of writing that gives us the author's own argument in terms of any general conceptualized uh, topics. But the definition is vague, and when we talk about these overlapping with letters, we always generally get confused. So, what letters, formal letters, informal letters, and essays, and at times articles also, mix up in such a way that we won't be able to understand that we won't be able to distinguish between them very easily. So, the real strategy and the real understanding of what or how different type of essays can be written, that is what the major concern over here would be. And a paper, an article, a pamphlet, and a short story. These all are certain topics, writing concepts that we keep on, mixing our ideas into. At times we write essays in the form of article, at times in the form of short story. So we have to remember to understand, first of all, the requirement of the topic and in which particular category does it follow or does it falls. So that is what the most important part in understanding essays. And nowadays, it's not only constrained with the students of higher grade, it's also relatively began with the grade 4, 5 students because we have to improvise their writing. Talking about the different types of essays and their usages will be usage is something we'll be talking about in further way. Expository essays that talks about the exposition that talks about the ideas that can be built with the topic. Then comes analytical, where analysis is required in terms of writing. Though in general essays, the most important fundamental point that we need to remember is the persuasiveness, because we always try to persuade someone or the readers, the audience. But to what extent, what is the language which shall be used to persuade someone? And what kind of vocabulary shall we use there? Then comes persuasive. That's absolutely something to convince someone as if we try to make them understand our point of view. So that is persuasive essays. Comes with argumentative. At times we have seen debates. We have seen for and against motions in debates. So that is what we'd say argumentative here. But it doesn't mean at times in argumentative that we keep our points in forth. We also have to remember to look at the other's point of view, which students absolutely at times forget to do. And they kept on writing about their point of views instead of understanding the general idea of that point. So we have to at times make it very, open to every sort of a person who can relate or unrelate to the concept. It means whether the person could be in favor or in against of that. Then comes narrative. Narrative is the one essay wherein we could write stories. That is what we have to understand in terms of the questions. We cannot define in any particular topic a narrative. We cannot write that. Descriptive is absolutely different from persuasive. It's absolutely different from analytical. Descriptive is more about describing things using absolutely different terminology in terms of strategy. It talks about full of adjectives. It talks about full of uh, poetic or literary devices. It also talks about imagery concepts, the sensory five sensory images. It talks about every particular detail that we can add on into description. Then comes compare and contrast. At times we have two things. We have to define past tense or present tense of that, or present or future tense of that. Or something means at times we have two objects or two concepts to distinguish between. So we have to not only just talk about comparison, we also have to contrast that. So both of the sides have to be balanced when we talk about compare and contrast essays. Cause and effect is something generalized we most of the time, right? We Whenever it comes to natural disasters, whenever it comes to natural issues, grievances, what's going on inside in the world, as if I can give you an example about the war. What was the cause of the war between Russia and Ukraine, or any particular point where we have seen disagreement in the points? So what was the cause and how it is affecting the the generation, the society, the nature. So the important point is to be understood when we are talking about cause and effect. And then comes critical analysis. At times we have heard critics in every field, in writing as well, in entertainment field as well, in absolutely diplomatic field as well, means in politics too. So critical analysis gives us the harsh but bitter and true reality of any particular concept or the topic. So it is absolutely opposite to what analysis is. So that is how we have to remember about the difference in the essays. When we talk about the effective strategies that we can follow to improve these essays, there are certain ways. First of all, identifying the subject. That is what I'm kept on talking about. So choose a subject, then comes a create outline. After choosing a subject, we have to first of all understand by answering certain questions whether that subject is apt of the for the introduction, and if yes, then how and at to what extent. And then afterwards we have to create its outline. Create outline means we are not going to start writing at the very same moment when we read any topic. It means we have to make a kind of a mind mapping. We have to brainstorm ourselves, and also we have to put our events, whichever we are going to describe or discuss, in an arrangement in our chronological order, which are going to be reflected in the different sets of paragraphs. After that, we have to research on our topic. When I say about researching, am I not going to type exactly the same thing? I will try to understand its cause, first of all, its importance, how it is affecting my world, and how it is going to be better if it is a problem, and if it is something that we have initiated to make the world better or to come up to any important point, how are we going to improvise it? What are the suggestions? So research your topic gives you the better vocabulary for that topic, and also will give you certain important points to discuss with the audience, with the readers. And when it comes to vocabulary, this is what at times we find it difficult, because generally when we talk about essays, we use simple sentences. We don't turn them into compound or complex sentences, and that is where we do mistake. We generalize our sentences in terms of one simple explanation or expression. We forget to transport or transmit it to one expression to the other. So we also at times miss transitional words in that. So these important points are very important very significant when we take these topics ahead. When we talk about vocabulary is very significant in terms of using or writing any essay. That can be helpful with the research for sure. Then comes the proper sentences structures. I've already told about you. Instead of using simple sentences, we have to come up with compound and complex. At times we generalize and make it more complex in terms of using both compound strategy and complex together, by making subjects complex, by making objects complex. So this is the ideas, the points that are we discussing right now, is something that we can take in our classes. We are not going to just let the child understand about one particular essay and it's just and leave them of understanding on their own or self-explanatory. No, we are going to come up with these small details where child will come to know and understand what or to what extent, how or to what extent he knows about that by himself in subconscious mind. So evoking the ideas is the most important part here as well, when we talk about sentence structure, when we talk about vocabulary, and to generalize the topic. Then we have to also talk about the punctuations. Children do a lot of mistakes in that is not very very vague or very difficult topic, because children might have learned from the very beginning of their schooling, but they generally forget about them, where to use, or after what, or after how long a comma is to be put, what is expression in the sentence is changing, what is a phrase, and whether after a phrase we have to put a comma. So these small punctuation mistakes, errors can also lose up ending up marks, and that is what we can't afford. And so we come up to this small level as well to explain our students. comes to know about more use of active and passive voice, reported speech, depends on what the topic is. And last, we have to not forget to do the proofreading of the topic. Once we have already done, we have done with the drafting, we have put that all these points in the paper. Give yourself 10 to 15 good minutes or maybe half an hour, and then have a round and come back to proofread. Because once you'll be doing it, you won't be able to find your mistake. With the cool mind, with the calm composition, with the composure, you'll be able to see after 10 or 15 minutes that yes, I have forgotten this expression, I've forgotten this, you can say punctuation marks. This editing strategy will also be taught here. We will let the child understand how and where he or she will be able to find out their own mistakes in the essays or in any generalized writing skill. Here, because we know the time, essays took a lot of time when we are sitting at home, and if it is an assessment or an assignment, we take a lot of time because we have a lot of time. But what if the question comes in the class, in the examination? How are we going to then utilize our time? So importance of time management is there to be known, to be understood very well. It is absolutely important because we don't want to lose any mark there. So time management let us constrain our ideas into effectiveness, but in a selective or a limited timing. So good time management skills increase your productivity and help you to get more done. If you utilize your time, for example, there is 30 minutes I have for my essay to complete today, and I have to write 4 paragraphs. I will bifurcate my timings into such a way that every paragraph will at least get 7 to 8 good minutes. If I'm writing 4 to 5 paragraphs, or you can say more than that, then it has to be constrained. Then, depending on what are we writing and what topic are we using in our concept. Time management skill also help us to reduce stress, because we already know about that this is certain time duration in which I have to write. If I would have ample of time and I would not pay attention to any really limited timing, I will be ending up just thinking about, I will be only ending up thinking about, oh, what am I supposed to write, then I will cutting it, then I will be leaving those points undone, and then I move on to other concepts, other points. So I have to, because the drafting, I have already done my drafting at the beginning. I know what are all points I have to use in my writing. So keeping those points in mind, the time helps me in making them in order and in a better. Effective time management clarifies your goal and prioritize your most important task. And it, as a result, you have more time to achieve bigger and better results, because you will be finishing your task in certain time period. So we will give such a rigorous practice to the students here on Turito, wherein first of all they'll be open writer with the open timing slots. Afterwards, we'll constrain them into a certain duration. Means, let's for example, first we'll give an hour, then 45 minutes, then we'll confine them into 30 minutes, and that is how we'll be trying to squeezing out their and improving, squeezing out their timing and improving their writing skill, or with you can say the writing pace, because writing pace is also very important. What I am thinking is to be on paper, so I have to coordinate with my mind and with my hand. Both things are to be so much in coordination and in you can say support to each other, that whatever I think, it must be kept on be on my paper. How am I going to improve my essay writing skills? So that is what we have generally discussed about. Start with the outline, just in a recap. Have complete understanding of grammar and style, punctuation. Use correct vocabulary. Understand arguments and analyze evidences. Essays are mostly depend on, most of the essays are depend on the evidences. So what evidence is required? So I always prefer my students to come up with 5 best evidences they can provide, and afterwards they may find the best out of 3. Means the best they have thought, then they have to choose again 3, the most important out of those, so that in at least 3 paragraphs they provide the evidences along with the argument, and write a good conclusion that supports your research. Now, when we talk about conclusion, children always find them puzzled and muddle headed, like what in conclusion am I supposed to write? Am I supposed to write something which I have not described in the previous part of my essay, or it is going to be adding certain more information? So let me here be very clear. We try to always come up with reinstating whatever we have said in the entire essay before than that, and also with certain expected things that we are focusing in future on that particular area. So conclusion always comes with reinstatements. And how Turito helps students become essay writing experts. We identify skills of the students and interest in writing passages. We let the child write something on his or her own way. Then we try to let the child understand the logic behind the errors that the child has made in that part or in any particular part. Like if the child has put full stop instead of a comma, why it is incorrect, why there must be a comma. So we come up to each and every point to let the child understand the logic behind the essay writing even, and improve of course, research powers. We also we also try to understand how to organize thoughts into text to put this idea into child's mind. We let always remember that utilizing the ideas into writing into onto a paper is the most important part, because at times what we think, we don't write. We come up with some other things which we find better, but we most importantly at times forget the points those have to be drawn in onto the paper, and afterwards we realize. Learn to extract key points from the feedback and master tips to finish essays within designated time. So these are important points that we have to remember whenever we come up with essay writing, and to make it or to improvise it in a better way. Ravli ma'am, can we go to the next slide? Yeah. And the most important part, why shall we learn English with Turito? As if we have so many, I could say thousands of platform, and on that platform, millions of people, teachers, tutors, companies, organization, giving us lessons. But the most important part is we can never approach on a one simple way and treat every child as the same person or a same human being. So here, one size can never fits all. So we cannot give every student the same lecture. That's why we customize classes. That's why we understand child's importance, the needs, the requirement, and on the basis of which we design our classes, being tutors. And when we move on to talk about what do we give, instead of just learning the concept, we give mindful of learning. Mindful of learning comes up with how, when, where, like how am I going to use it, where am I going to use it, when am I going to use it. These questions would be answered by the tutors when the child is there to understand any topic. The child will not only go with the concept on the paper, with certain worksheets on the paper. The child will go with mindful, wherein he or she can anytime understand and let the others also understand what I have learned and why it is important and how it is going to benefit me. Clear concepts from the ground level. As if I've already told you, punctuation, we teach till grade 12 as well. Punctuation, though we started with grade 1, year 2, but still it is such an important topic, such an, if I could say, the graver topic that we should use, and we should keep on learning and refining along with the structurized sentences, improvised sentences. For grade 5 student, the essay writing is different. For grade 8 students, it's absolutely different. And when I come to talk about grade 12, it is all depend on research and analysis. So their strategy is absolutely different to what I might have taught to grade 5 or to grade 2. And learn here live. It means you may get at times live sessions with other platforms too, but here, the way we are interacting right now, one student at a time with a tutor, have a live interactive session and live session and can talk about, it's not just talk about what he wants, it's also talk about how does he want, where, at what level does he want. So we can come up with live session, interactive small sessions as well. And the prime focus is only the child and his or her requirements on the concepts. And we make you exam ready, as if Ravali at the beginning also said, that we always target here on NAPLAN and OC. We always try to focus on 4 important areas of literature, grammar, if I could compile it into, that is reading, writing, and grammar and speaking. Children, I have found children are so amazing and fluent in speaking, but they still don't incorporate those spoken ideas into writing patterns. So that is where our job starts. That is where we have to make the child understand to connect with. So we incorporate all these four areas: reading, writing, grammar, and speaking, so that child would be ready for future endeavors as well. Now let's discuss if we have any questions and if we have any doubts.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And all the parents and students, we have Q&A session now. Please feel free to drop your questions at Q&A section. And we got some questions, ma'am.
Okay.
And the question is, we don't know great vocabulary. Will it impact our essay grades?
Yes, for sure. Though at times we don't emphasize in too much of great vocabulary, means very heavy words, but yes, we have to understand the appropriate words for that particular type of essay and for the topic. So that enhancement and that understanding is something is very important to and required, and definitely it impact in essay writing.
Yeah, thank you. And the next one is, how long should an essay be? Is it necessary to use all the word limited mentioned?
For example, if in the questions we have certain, hints or ideas, definitely then we have to incorporate them. We cannot leave them. We cannot even afford to leave them, because the questionnaire has been prepared in such a way that the examiner could be able to understand how well would you be able to do or to use those in your writing. So we can modulate them, means our writing into our way, but those words and the vocabulary and the ideas hints should be used.
Okay, ma'am. And the next one is, how to write a good introduction for an essay?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. So first in this question, I would like to answer that one should understand the question first, the topic first. For example, if I'm talking about, let's very generalized topic, are wars good, for example, or does war good any, does war make any good in humans' life? So if in this I am talking about my essay, if I have to write essay on this particular topic, first of all, I have to understand what is war. And if instead of answering that question, I have to understand what the word is, the key word in the entire question. So I have to describe that first. What are the different ways? What are the different types the words can be happened? How much impact does they put in? Then we can come up to the next level. So introduction is important with the rhetorical questions.
Yeah, ma'am. And the next question is, how to improve vocabulary?
To improve vocabulary, of course, I always prefer my students to at least research on that topic at least once. It can be article reading as well. And before than that, I also give one strategy of mind mapping to the students, not even I, even all of the tutors here, because we are highly trained for that. So we put on the student into certain questions wherein he or she herself will come up with good vocabulary to be used in that particular essay for the topic. So once you'll be coming up and taking at the regular sessions, you'll be able to understand how those questions wherein you are going to give us yourself the vocabulary that you know subconsciously, but we never use them at times. And including that, we also, on top of it, we will provide you certain vocabularies for that particular topic that can, and how we can use them in different ways as well. So this strategy of using vocabulary and good vocabulary will be also taught to the students here.
Yeah, ma'am. And thank you. And next question is, how to improve writing speed?
That is what the main entire session was on. So writing skill is something depends on the part or the topic you are writing on. If it is an essay, it has different approach. If it is article, it has absolutely different approach. If you're writing letters, it's also different approach. If you're talking about narratives, it has different approach. So every writing skill has different approaches, so we have to understand first of all what are we writing, and according to which what strategy we have to follow. We cannot be very blatant and blind to write and to use same strategy in every particular way. For grade 4, for example, or grade 5, I could come up with 3 paragraphs of descript, or let's say 2 paragraphs of description essay. But for grade 8 and grade 9 or 10, I will not afford to have the 2 paragraphs here. I will definitely try to improvise to go at least for 3 to 4 paragraphs. So that improvement, that addition of the words or the ideas, this is what the strategy we are going to comprehend here in the student's mind.
And the next question is, different schools work on different topics at one time. How are you going to cater them in one group?
As first of all, one group we have one-on-one sessions. We don't have one group for the students. So we will be only focusing on the student who will be enrolling with us. I will take one student at a time. So whatever he finds problem in the writing skills according to his school, we'll be following that pattern, and we will teach the student accordingly.
And we got one question related to management department, ma'am. And Sakshi is with us. She will answer this. How to join these classes? Do we have a trial class?
Okay,
Hello,
hello
Sakshi.
parents. Yeah. So in order to join the classes, we first provide you with a demo session, and the demo session can be taken for different subjects, including English. So once you take the demo session, you all will be able to understand if the classes will be working out for you or not. And likewise, you can begin for the enrollment process. A team member will reach out to you within 24 hours of this webinar, and you can give your details to the team member, and likewise your demo will be scheduled for your preferred day.
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi. Thank you, ma'am, for
Yes, ma'am.
explaining with a patience all the questions and the topic. And we will be ending the session now. We'll be having a webinar session in the coming week as well. We hope to see you all again. Until then, if you have any queries, please write to us at care@turito.com. For more info, please visit our website www.turito.com. For better learning and better results, please join Turito. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you, Ravali. Thank you so much, all the team members and the parents and the students who joined. Thank you so much. I hope we'll be meeting each other very soon. Thank you so much.